From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Happy Friday evening to you. The weekend is pretty much here, isn't it? Now, before we get to that deep dive forecast, because we've got a lot to get into, we got a lot to unwrap from high fire danger due to several different reasons, due to thunderstorms that are in the forecast as well. But before we get to that deep dive, for those of you that are maybe in a bit of a hurry or don't want to spend a lot of time looking at the forecast, let's get you right to Kruger's Quickcast. And in about 1 to 2 minutes, we'll get you through the next 24 hours or so. So for tonight, you're dropping down into the low to mid 60s in the valley, 40s and 50s for the higher elevations, low to mid 50s tonight here for the coast. Should stay dry. In fact, it'll be dry tomorrow morning as we get you out the door tomorrow morning around 8 a.m. Temperatures will be in the mid 60s for the valley. Sunny skies, Trinity County, a few high clouds, some clouds, but still dry for the north coast. Then for Siskiyou, Modoc County, Eastern Mountains, sunny skies there. Temperatures mainly in the mid to upper 50s. All right, so we take a look at Futurecast, and we take you through 6 a.m., and then we go into tomorrow morning through around noon. Now, most of the rain is off to the west, but we're beginning to see some showers developing here for basically western Siskiyou County, Del Norte County, and even parts of Humboldt County as well. Then we start to see those thunderstorms begin to kind of pop up through the afternoon. Now, what you'll notice is most of those storms will generally be, say, Red Bluff northward, maybe making their way into the Bernie area, but some of those may kind of spill into western Siskiyou County, northwestern Lassen County as well, but for the most part, Modoc County, Lassen, and Plumas counties will most likely stay dry during this event, and not to mention the south end of the valley around Chico. Now, with that rain and that storm pushing through, a lot of the haze and smoke that we've seen, it's actually going to kind of clear out. And yeah, we're still going to see the Boise fire active, and it will still produce smoke, but it's not going to be nearly as much smoke, and it's not going to spread as far as we've seen here, especially on Saturday. So there's that chance for thunderstorms. So again, this is where we're seeing. Now, I should probably even include Bernie in there, not to mention Shingletown, maybe Fall River Mills, but everywhere else around here, we'll be looking at mainly dry conditions. And by the way, too, look at Corning, Chico, Willows, Oroville, most likely not getting caught up in any of those showers or thunderstorms. We'll see, but that's kind of what it's looking like for now. Here's your 7-day outlook. There it is on Saturday. There's that slight chance for Chico, but don't count on it. Dry on Sunday, mainly low 90s as we go through most of next week. Taking a look at your coast. Showers, thunderstorms for everyone, including inland and Trinity County. Maybe a chance for a morning shower on Sunday for the coast. Otherwise, dry through the second half of the weekend and dry through next week. We take a look at your Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and Eastern Mountains. There's that chance for thunderstorms for Mount Shasta. Alturas, most likely dry. Maybe an evening shower, especially to the west of Alturas. Susanville should be dry as well, and then warming up a little bit here for next week. All right, let's get into your deeper dive forecast now. It's going to be cooler this weekend. Showers and thunderstorms Saturday, stronger winds going into the weekend with no big heat waves going through next week. So really, these are the three things that these two things are the things that I'm looking at, because there's a lot to unpack. Because we're looking at high fire danger for a couple of different reasons, wind and thunderstorms. And of course, the thunderstorms are something we've got to look at, and the gusty winds that will be associated with those storms and with the main storm itself. So again, you see what I'm talking about? A lot to unpack. So let's start with the National Weather Service having issued a red flag warning for Siskiyou County. Now, this red flag warning has been issued for different reasons than this red flag warning. Okay, so central western Siskiyou County, the reason there's a red flag warning, thunderstorms. Dry lightning, gusty outflow winds coming from those thunderstorms could create problems. Should a new fire start, it could spread rapidly because of those gusty winds. Now, switch gears. For Modoc County, eastern Lassen County, it's a red flag warning because it will be windy in general over there, not because of thunderstorms, because we're not expecting thunderstorms here. It'll just be windy in general because of the main area of low pressure producing those thunderstorms. It'll produce very gusty winds off to the east, not to mention low humidity. So high fire danger because of gusty winds and low humidity. Should a new fire start, it could spread rapidly because of the gusty winds and dry conditions. So we look at that fire potential again. It's because of those winds. We also have some pretty gusty winds for the valley, by the way, not just because of the thunderstorms popping up, but just in general with that main area of low pressure. Okay, so let's take a look at those winds as we go into tomorrow around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Look at these winds in the valley. We're starting to see some reds in there. So you're getting into that 40-mile-an-hour range plus for parts of the valley. Look at that in El Turris, 32-mile-an-hour gusts. Could get higher than that, but there you can see some of the strongest winds there. That's why we've got the high fire danger there. Gusty winds, and you'll see just how dry it's going to be there tomorrow as well. Now, notice the winds aren't as bad off to the west here. So that's not going to create any big problems here for the Boise fire. However, look at the winds over the Park fire. They're going to be a little strong. Now, we talk about these winds being offset by the fact that the humidity is going to be higher, and that is true. But despite the higher humidity, I'm a little concerned about the Park fire because it's still an active fire, and we've got to be aware of that, and that could create some problems here with those gusty winds, and obviously not to mention the active fire, Boise fire, but again, the winds there won't be quite as strong. Now, the good news is by the time we do get into Sunday, and really Saturday night into Sunday, those winds die down. I mean, a little breezy in the afternoon, nothing unusual, but it looks like the main wind event will be gone on Sunday. All right, so the fire weather outlook, there's the elevated fire outlook, again, because of the dry conditions and gusty winds that I was just talking about. So let's take a look at the humidity now. So we've been looking at the teens throughout the week for the Chico area. We're going to double that on Saturday, probably around 31%. That's a big deal. That is, when it comes to firefighting efforts, a big help when it comes to fighting the fires, because the fuels, they react pretty much immediately to these humidity levels. So when you have higher moisture content in the air and in the fuels, it's just harder for the fire to burn. It's a little bit more difficult. So it allows the firefighters to really get a good handle on the fire. But again, keep in mind, very gusty winds. So we'll kind of see just how much that helps. It's helping, and it is going to help to offset the gusty winds, but despite the fact that it will be higher humidity, the gusty winds could create some problems. But I mean, look at all the green on the map here near the Boise fire. I mean, you're 70% relative humidity in Hoopa. So I mean, obviously not a whole lot to be concerned about as far as the humidity levels. Looking pretty good there. But then as we go into Sunday, things back to where we've been. You can see the drier conditions back in the teens for Chico, and of course the dry conditions off to the north and east. And of course, typically on the coast here, much higher humidity. Okay, so now we're going to switch gears, talk about the threat for thunderstorms. So looking at this map, you see two shades of green. The light shade of green is just a general overall sense of, okay, here is going to be the best chance for thunderstorms and showers tomorrow. This area right here. And quite honestly, I think the Storm Prediction Center did a pretty good job here. I think this is where we're going to see most of the activity. You head south of Red Bluff, Corning. I think the chances are going to be a bit slimmer. And of course, this area most likely, for the most part, remaining dry. But I mean, even Bernie getting cut up in some of that as well. Now, where you're seeing the darker green, you see this right here, category 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 being the highest category of the intensity, just how strong those thunderstorms are going to be, if there's going to be any tornadoes, the works. This is what's called the marginal instability. This is basically saying, hey, listen, on a category of 1 to 5, it's the lowest. But that being said, in our area, that's kind of a big deal. We don't typically see green on the map. Every once in a while, we might get up to yellow, maybe orange. I rarely, if I've ever seen orange in our area, all right? Just kind of give you an idea. These categories here are reserved for the deep south, for Texas, Louisiana, right? Areas that, and not to mention the Midwest, where you really do see a lot of those severe thunderstorms. But for us, even in the green, we can see strong to severe thunderstorms develop. I've seen that happen many times. It happens a lot in this area, even more so in the areas in green. But really, what this is meaning is this. This right here has the best potential for some of the strongest thunderstorms. And quite honestly, I think that's a pretty good assessment. I think some of them could be making their way kind of in this area too, but overall, that's the overall assessment. All right, so let's get you to Futurecast. Let's walk you through the timing of it and get you through it here. Here's the noon hour. The clouds will be on the increase through the morning. Still plenty of sunshine off to the east. We're seeing a few showers developing here, especially in Siskiyou County and maybe even parts of Delnor County. But the bulk of the activity is off to the west. However, the cold front will be moving through, and what's going to happen is as that cold front passes through, you see how it's all beginning to flare up now. Wairika, just west of Mount Shasta. So basically western Siskiyou County, Trinity County, and just west of the valley. I think by around 2 p.m. we may start to see some showers and thunderstorms even for the Redding and Red Bluff areas. West of that, you can kind of see just some scattered showers and thunderstorms here, and not to mention more activity out over the ocean. So if you do need to be on a small boat, yeah, you're going to run into some thunderstorms there. We take into 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Notice Red Bluff, northward into Redding, city of Shasta Lake. Not quite in Bernie yet, right? But I think that'll hold off until late in the day. But look at Siskiyou County. I mean, you got some pretty strong thunderstorms. You think about a few days ago, we saw some strong thunderstorms there. This could be a repeat of that, maybe even worse. And then, of course, to the west of that, scattered showers, maybe some more thunderstorms developing there. I mean, it's not showing up, but it could happen through Saturday afternoon. 5 p.m. on Saturday, notice it's trending more northward with the activity. So the north end of the valley around Redding, northward, looking at some thunderstorms popping up. Central, eastern Siskiyou County, all of Siskiyou County really seeing the chances for thunderstorms. But look at Bernie. Bernie may get caught up in some of this with a chance for some of those thunderstorms. And of course, not to mention along the coast, inland, and still Trinity County could see some activity here even at 5 p.m. Let's take you into about 7 p.m. Now it's really kind of wrap itself up. We're still seeing some showers and thunderstorms in northern Shasta County. Still Siskiyou County seeing some of that activity. Could still be looking at some lightning strikes, but you can see it's kind of quieting down. Not as much activity. But notice still Bernie, but look at Modoc County, look at Lassen County, most likely looking at those dry conditions. And then overnight by 10 o'clock Saturday night, it's all pretty much gone. Now we may still see a few lingering showers overnight into the early morning hours along the coast. Otherwise, it dries out by Sunday afternoon. I mean, even clearing out as well, just some afternoon clouds for Trinity County, northward into western Siskiyou County. And then by Sunday night, 10 p.m., those clouds are pretty much gone, and maybe a little bit of low clouds and fog developing along the coast Sunday night. So what does this mean for rain? Well, honestly, take this with a grain of salt, because when you're talking scattered showers and thunderstorms, it's difficult to really pinpoint exactly how much rain each area will see, but you get the idea. For areas that get caught under strong thunderstorms, you could see up to a ½ an inch of rain. For areas that get caught under a strong thunderstorm, maybe 1/4 to a ½ an inch of rain. For areas that don't get caught under thunderstorms, it may be a stray shower or two. Now you're talking about a few hundredths to maybe upwards of 1/10 of an inch of rainfall. So again, it just depends on where the thunderstorms develop and how slowly or quickly they move. But they'll generally be moving to the north, from the southwest off to the north and to the east. And then, of course, you'll notice no accumulation to the east of that because we don't expect any rain. Sunday, Monday, it looks dry, and really taking it through next week, we continue with dry conditions, but there is going to be an area of low pressure off to the north and west of us that's going to dive down to the south. Now, that's going to have rain associated with over there, right? But we're not going to see any of that rain over us, so it stays dry. And by the way, that monsoon moisture still well off to our east and not really impacting our weather. So let's talk about the temperatures now. The big heat stays away. Yes, that's fantastic. There's the big heat. There's the cooler air. Now, this heat wants to build in. It can't, right? Why? Because this right here, so this digging to the south, this will be responsible for the instability that we will see, not to mention the gusty winds. So it's not just the winds from the thunderstorms, but this area of low pressure itself and the squeeze play between that high and low is going to give us those strong winds from the south and west. So that's the other thing I was talking about, those gusty winds, especially for the valley eastward. West of the valley, most likely not as strong with those winds. Now, that area of low pressure is going to kind of migrate north, northeastward, and eventually kick off back off into Canada. But another reinforcing shot of cooler air is going to come in behind that for next week. What does that mean? Well, what it means is this high pressure and the heat associated with it, it's not going to build back in. And we're going to remain dry and cool going through the end of next week and into that next weekend. Now, eventually, as this kind of pushes eastward, maybe some showers kind of kicking in here toward the end of next week, that next weekend. Nothing guaranteed at this point, but bottom line, cooler air, keeping that heat down to our south and east. No heat waves heading our way anytime soon. I think that's pretty good news. I think a lot of people are going to be happy about that. Looking at that 10-day trend, yeah, you see how the temperature is dropping for the weekend. They go back up a little bit, back down, back up again. And then maybe by 10th day, we're up to about 96 degrees. But the normal high for the valley, about 98 degrees, give or take, depending on where you are. But you get the idea. Temperature is staying below normal, no triple digits in the forecast. Now we look at the wave heights. They are going to increase with that storm system coming in on Saturday, but really, quite honestly, not by a whole lot, as you can see here. Once that storm system moves out, we go into Sunday, those wave heights are going to start to drop again. All right, so let's take a look at our forecast for tonight. Temperatures in the low to mid 60s for the 40s and 50s for the higher elevations, low to mid 50s out along the coast. Here is your Trinity County detailed neighborhood forecast. We'll get to it. I'm pushing the button. There it goes. It's going to happen. There it is. 78 degrees for Trinity Center, 80 for Lewiston. There's that chance for thunderstorms off and on throughout the day in Trinity County. Starting off probably around noon, afternoon, and then so it should be dry for the first half of the day. All right, we take you out to the North Coast neighborhood forecast. Showers, thunderstorms in your forecast for tomorrow. Maybe a chance on the coast here early tomorrow morning, but otherwise drying out for the afternoon. Gas Key, 74. Showers, thunderstorms inland, drying out on Sunday. A little bit warmer, but still below normal through next week. Your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Etna, about 80. Chance for thunderstorms there. Pretty much all of Siskiyou County. Scattered showers and thunderstorms here throughout the afternoon and even into the evening hours. Here's your Modoc County neighborhood forecast. I've got you dry. Now, with that said, in the evening hours, Tule Lake, Newby, Newell, that is, Canby, Aden may be coming that far east, but really honestly, should be dry for most of these areas here. And then it warms up a little bit here and stays dry through next week as well. Eastern Mountains. So for Bernie, I think you'll see a chance for thunderstorms, maybe Fall River Mills, maybe Viola and Shingletown. This area here could see thunderstorms tomorrow. South of that, most likely remaining dry, and I don't anticipate any thunderstorms there. And then Susanville, of course, you're dry, and then looking at temperatures mid to upper 80s through next week. Here's your Valley neighborhood forecast, and you can see here for Chico, I still got that chance in there. So basically, around Red Bluff or Corning is going to be the cutoff point. So Corning, you're going to be kind of in that borderline where you have a chance for showers and thunderstorms. South of that, Hamilton City, Chico, Durham, Willows, Biggs, Oroville, Gridley, most likely you won't see anything. Is there going to be an off chance that we could see some development there? Certainly. I mean, it's too close for comfort, but as you head south in the valley, the chances do diminish. So you go to places like Redding, Whiskeytown, City of Shasta Lake, Lakehead, Bella Vista, Palisador, Anderson, all the way down to Red Bluff, chances for thunderstorms. And those were the best chances will be. So looking at your 7-day outlook for Redding, there's the isolated thunderstorms for the afternoon. Still, even though we're drying things out on Sunday, that cooler air is still going to be in place. So temperatures in the upper 80s, back into the low 90s for the most part, through next week. That is your evening forecast. Be sure to check in tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. I will be filling in for Brian with the latest on the approaching storm.
At Cottonwood Small Animal Clinic and Cottonwood Veterinary Clinic, we're here to provide the best possible care for your patients. We understand that your pet is your family member, and when your family member is sick, they need urgent help.
All our staff is so passionate about the care that goes into all your little creatures. Making relationships with pet parents here in Cottonwood is the greatest feeling in the world. Come find us off the Gas Point exit here in the heart of Cottonwood.